Hi everybody, I am with the one and only Maria Sharifah. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, I'm pretty sure some of us know about Closer to Christ at Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit what it's about?
Well, it is exactly that. It is getting closer to Christ at Christmas than consumerism and the chaos of what are we going to eat, what are we going to drink, where are we going to go, how many pictures am I going to get?
So a little bit of it's like a way of explaining getting closer to Christ. So you could send some you could send the link to someone and you would go, oh, hey, this is Closer to Christ at Christmas. That friend asks, oh, what is this? It looks so cool, fun, festive. What would you respond?
Well, I would respond, I think that's really great because that is the greatest gift that you can give someone or receive from someone, which is a more consciously aware, loving, kind person. A lot of times we're giving gifts and we
haven't focused on getting closer to Christ at Christmas.
Right,
because we're always so focused on the gifts. What are we going to get the kids?
Right.
Yeah. If you had to describe Closer to Christ in one word, what would you describe it?
Oh, that's a very good question. Synchronicity. I think that's an odd way to describe it, but so many things have become so synchronized when you are walking on the spiritual path and when you're really in alignment with what it is that you're supposed to be doing and who it is that you are, created in the image and likeness of God. And for some reason, it's been such a synchronized experience for me. The right people showed up, the right messages came through. Following intuition was a huge part of it. And I want that for other people.
Yes.
And I found that's to be their...
It's really touching, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, I found it to be their experience, that the closer they get to Christ through this journey, a day at a time, is their lives are syncing up and all these odd...
Is it kind of like a poem every day? It's do you kind of look up a poem, poem of the day?
A poem of the day? A psalm of the day.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm not very sorry.
That's okay. Someone asked me today, they were reading and listening to some of the material, and they didn't know what the rosary was. They had no idea what the... I know. So that was really, really interesting because a lot of times I take for granted that everyone knows and is thinking certain ways that we do. I think that a lot of times that tends to be the case. But yeah, she didn't know the rosary or divine mercy or any of these prayers or really any of these stories that if you've grown up with them, you've just grown up with them and you kind of take their potency for granted.
Yeah. So I think that's really actually really great. But just quick question. Closer to Christ is it Closer to Christ at Christmas or just Closer to Christ?
Well, I mean, you can't really cram Christ into your life. It's an ever evolving and that relationship emerges as time goes on. But this is really centered around Christmas time. Because we are celebrating Christ. Did you know that Christmas really is Christ's Mass? And do you know what Mass really is? A body of people joined together. So have you ever learned in science about a mass of people? So it's when one group of people are really thinking and believing in a similar way. And it's, yeah. Oh, wow. That's a lot of note-taking you've got there.
My question is,
sure.
Well, when you started the program, would you want it to turn out like this, being pretty close to being really successful, and also, did you have were you when you started this, did you have it planned out, saying, this is what it's going to be like. This this is how I'm going to do it. This is how my future would be.
Well, as you...
This is how it would be. Yeah.
Well, listen, and a lot of times people have visions and they have ideas that are, they're very vivid, but making a very vivid vision come into a real vision can sometimes take you on different paths and in different ways. That's where synchronicity comes in sometimes too, because you're like, oh my gosh, it's just kind of falling into place. It's taking on a life of its own, and you're following one little instinct after the next, one impulse after the next, and you're guided by the people who come into your life to help you. And so it is shaping up in a beautiful way, and then it's inspiring me to...
Put my notes down.
Okay, it's inspiring me to create a lot of other things for people too. Yeah.
So I also heard you've been making some pretty awesome books. What's your favorite? Like, what's the one that you're currently working on? Because I know you're really, really trying your hard because it's Christmas. You're
Right.
trying to get people to get closer to Christmas.
Right.
So you're not like 100% focused on your books.
Right.
But what's the one that you've been like, oh, hey, I'm kind of getting bored with Closer to Christ. I kind of want to take a break.
Christmas is ending soon. Well, no.
I kind of want to take a break. Just do
Yeah.
some of my book writing.
I had written thank you for, that's a good question. I had written a daily meditation book. So 365 meditations that are personalized to each person.
So like each day you wrote
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
Thank you. Yes, so it is personalized through their individual year and goes through their own cycles. So it's really personal because not everyone is in the same energetic mode at each time of the year. Just like the seasons change, your seasons of the year change too. And so it's good to adapt to those things.
Yeah, wow. That's really actually awesome.
And I am writing a book about my father. And
my gosh.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, it's so touching.
Well, I talk to him all the time, and so sometimes...
Oh, on like the phone and stuff?
No. So...
he passed. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but it's been a journey, and so I like to get him caught up on things like the internet and FaceTime and all these things that he may not have known about in 1991. So it's actually really, really a fun way to connect to him, to get closer to the people in your life that you're either with, because I think that that's really important, to get closer to the people that are in your life now, and then closer to the people that may not be in your life anymore.
Wow, that's actually really amazing. I think it's so cool that you're writing a book about your father, telling, like, as you just said, telling him about, like, the internet, social media, rebuilt
marijuana is legal. I mean, all these things I have to tell him.
Yeah, I think that's really, really cool because he's not here to know, but you can tell him. And
Yeah.
I love that you're writing a book about that.
Well, thank you.
Because, and he's always like right here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions? I mean, this was such an impromptu interview. I'm pretty sure we were just doing a workout to some disco music, and then all of a sudden, here we are. You're very creative, and you're quite the interviewer and quite the inspiration builder.
Thank you. I have a couple more questions.
Okay.
So what? Can you tell me what are the names? How many books do you have?
3. There's 3 books that I'm working on at the moment.
What are the names?
Well, Closer to Christ at Christmas, or Christmas Manifesto, is kind of, because it just feels like a little bit of a manifesto. A Coffee Date with Heaven is the working title of my book with my dad.
Yeah.
Yep. And I really don't have a title for the meditation 365, except it's your personal spiritual DNA blueprint. I don't know, something like that.
Oh, I actually...
Do you have an idea?
Maybe you do have a good name.
Okay.
365 ways to get to you.
Oh, that's good. Can we write that down?
Yeah, sure.
365 ways to... Oh, we're running out of ink. To you. Okay, that's okay. Any other questions? Or what's our next activity?
Well,
Is it bedtime? I hope it's bedtime.
You're very tired.
Yeah, yeah.
I just have one quick question.
Okay.
So when you started, did you start all your books oh, I got a good idea, I'm gonna make a book. Oh, I got another good idea, I'm gonna make another book. Oh, I got another great idea for meditation, I'm gonna make a book.
Ideas have plagued me forever. Meaning, I write on anything and anything I can get my hand on, and I realized that I was
I'll
like that
think
all
this,
the time.
I'll think that,
Yeah.
I'll think this, I'll think this, and jot it all down.
All the time. Yeah, and so then it had to become organized. If you want to share something in a meaningful way with people, then you have to organize it. And so that may not necessarily be a strength of mine, but you can always learn. You can always learn a new skill. And if there's a skill that you don't have that gets in the way of you being able to use the gifts and talents that you have, then you want to kind of make it your business to work on that so that you can really use your gifts and share with the world what it is that's on your heart, because that's coming through, that's coming through. That's a divine synchronicity.
Strong. Did anybody help you to is Closer to Christ at Christmas a program, right?
It's a journey that people are taking, and everyone is, there's guidelines to the journey, which is great. And at its foundation, we're reading the Gospel of Luke backwards. And many people who are very devout, myself included, I hadn't actually read it cover to cover. You hear bits and pieces of it, and it's very fascinating to read from beginning to end the life of Christ, because it's the most inclusive and detailed story of Jesus's birth, his death, and his resurrection, and of course in his life.
Yes. So when you started, no, sorry, that's not my question. You already did that one. So Closer to Christ, it's kind of so I mean, I don't really know anything about it, but Closer to Christ, did you have help developing it? Did you get any ideas from other coaching programs or?
Well, that's a good question, because a lot of it came from a body of collected knowledge through over the years, from people, from self-study, from study. A lot I get as a singer at Mass, so I'm learning. I'm always listening. And I think that's an important way to learn, is always be listening, always be observing, and then go with what your feelings are. So, and then there were people along the way who helped and had some opinions and some ideas, but for the most part, I haven't watched The Chosen yet, and I'm not on Halo. A lot of this has been a cumulative study of 3 decades. And I just wrote. And I think it's really important, though, when you have that real creative urge, when you have the Holy Spirit really... Was that a yawn? Okay, when you have the Holy Spirit...
No, sorry. I'm just tired.
That's good news for me. When you have the Holy Spirit working through you, that you don't judge it, you don't stop it, you just do it. In fact, I talked with one of my favorite priests today, our family's favorite priests, and he said, hey, you know what they have on the subway sign? If you see something, say something. And then he said, and do something. And that's what I feel like this has been. I saw something. Yeah. I saw, and myself.
Saw people doing it. You wanted to do it.
No,
I did it.
Yeah, well, I suppose.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the questions I have. Do you want to tell anybody, visit or, go to the site or?
Wow. Very impressive for a child of your age. Thank you for that. I do appreciate your interview. I think it was really solidly done. I think you have a gift for that. So
the things that you said were really, really meaningful, and I took that in.
That's great. That's really great. So yeah, they can visit us at closertochrist@christmas.com. And we have a lot of wonderful free resources, and we're open to new ideas.
I will definitely check it.
Okay, well, good. Yeah, actually, I don't think you've read much or seen much of it, so that might be interesting.
Well, I mean, I'd heard of it, and I emailed you when you came, and I wanted to know more about it.
Well, I appreciate your time. I really do. It was wonderful to meet you, Gabby.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.